Yep, I gotta go along with you on that one. I think that one of the co-requisites of being a good public servant is you should be, well, I'm being a little facetious here. I was going to say miserable, but yeah, that what we've got now is kind of a I don't know, elitist royalty. I mean, you see Hillary Clinton flying
Well,
around.
look how easily these motherfuckers go off and kill somebody's kids. Say, go, yeah, we're gonna fight kind of a bogus, stupid war, and yeah, some of your kids are gonna die. Too fucking bad. What the fuck is that shit? I mean, who the hell does that job without mourning the rest of their life, without going to their grave a little bit fucking sad as hell that they had to kill people to do their job? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if I had to send somebody off to die, to get killed in some horrible way, there's just no way I'm going to be the same fucking person ever again. I mean, there's just no fucking way.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, you could spend a whole night on that topic alone. I'm sure you're familiar with depleted uranium and the fact that it was used in not only both Gulf Wars but also in Bosnia, Sarajevo, and there's a great video on YouTube, and I normally stay out of politics, extreme left or right wing politics, just because it gets very contentious. But there's a great video by Helen Caldicott about depleted uranium and the health effects that it has on children. And I haven't looked this up, so don't take my word for it. But apparently the half-life of uranium is what did she say? Like 4.5 billion years. So basically, we're irradiating the deserts of Mesopotamia with these DU weapons forevermore. So it's almost too horrific to contemplate and to wrap your head around this kind of. So basically, we're condemning the people of Iraq and everywhere that we've used these weapons to genetic birth defects forevermore. So it's really horrific, and I agree. I just don't know how anybody with any kind of conscience, good or otherwise, could abide the use of weapons like this in any kind of war. No matter how much.
The weapons like this it gets kind of complicated, because actually it's a consequential, incidental, accidental toxicity. I mean, it's almost like landmines. When you make a landmine, you're not thinking, oh yeah, this is going to stay in the ground for 15 years and some kid's going to step on it 15 years after the war's over. And so, the uranium thing is an accidental cause. Who imagined we would have shock and awe? Who imagined that we would be dropping, a megaton, of fucking regular munitions, and daisy cutters and all this shit. So yeah, that's the real problem. We just dropped so much of this crap. But yeah, I don't know the exact radioactive numbers, how high the background radiation is. It really is localized. So I mean, I guess, the kind thing to do is give everybody a Geiger counter, I guess. But yeah, it's not good.
Eisenhower predicted that this would happen. He gave it in his farewell address whenever he retired from the presidency.
Well, that's a different speech, really. That's the industrial complex, and that just has to. This isn't about the industrial complex, okay? 9/11 was not the industrial complex. That was a bunch of fucking asshole Christians saying, let's go on a revenge war and kill a bunch of other fucking goddamn. Let's go kill the towelheads. Let's go kill them.
It's private industry creating weapons.
Well, whatever. No hacks. We know why the fuck we got into that jackass war, and it was because of a lot of bubba fucking Americans saying, I want my revenge.
The reason why we got in that war is because we need war, because we're a war nation.
Whatever. We know that the fucking people, it doesn't fucking matter what the goddamn politicians' motives are. It's the people who made the decision. And the people, we the people, made the fucking decision. Not the military-industrial complex. We the people said, let's go fuck up the world with our bombs.
I've voted a lot of times. I've never once voted to go to war. Just saying.
I'm just saying, if you're going to deny we the people, so you only count yourself as we the people when they vote your way. And when they don't vote your way, all of a sudden it's not we the people. Well, then that's bullshit.
No, what I said was I have never voted to go to war directly.
Well, either have I. So that's not the fucking goddamn
you're
point, is
bullshit
it,
then.
jackass?
Well, you know, we the people got a lot of disinformation as well. If some people voted to go to war, some people, you know, voted based on some disinformation. Al-Qaeda in Iraq, yellow cake, you know, things like that.
Who believed this shit, okay? They wanted to believe this shit. I mean, who believed in...
Congress
come on, look at the bogus, insane stories they were fucking making up that people were fucking clinging to. Oh yeah, they got portable chemical labs. So they drive around in their own country in vans full of nerve gas. Oh yeah,
Where are they going to put the weapons?
I'm sure that fucking happens in reality. I'm sure if I was the crazy, maniacal, billionaire owners of Iraq, I'm going to sit there and figure out a plan, a way to do it so I can accidentally get myself nerve gassed. That would be just fucking brilliant.
There's portable meth labs. Why can't there be portable weapon labs?
Because it would be, I just explained why there wouldn't be. Because Madonna wouldn't sit there and kill herself, okay? If you got everything, you got a ton of money, why would you risk your own fucking life? You're going to risk the goddamn peons. You're not going to risk yourself.
Let's get back to the topic of who's voting to go to war and why. The reason why Congress is voting to go to war is because they have to keep the factories that reside in
Oh,
their...
let's not argue. Old Hacks, I'm just going to kick you. If you're going to pretend that there wasn't a popular momentum, okay, from we the people, from the masses, saying go get the fuckers, then you're an asshole and a liar. Okay? It's
Who
just
built the
plain
momentum
simple
then?
to make that argument. It was not any goddamn political cheat that got us into the war. People re-elected George fucking Bush.
Yeah, against John fucking Kerry.
Oh yeah, a real scary motherfucker he was. That's right, a guy who actually did risk his life in the fucking Vietnam War and somehow was a shithead because he did that.
Bush was in the war.
Well, Bush, yeah, right. The war, what? To get his prom date to Annapolis, you know, before 10:30, in his jet fighter. Whatever you're talking about. I mean, you're just so full of fucking goddamn shit. We know this was a popular war, not unpopular. It wasn't a conspiracy war. It was a fucking war that people wanted.
You know, one of the events leading up to the second Gulf War was Colin Powell's presentation before the United Nations, and I watched it in its entirety. And at the end of that presentation, I thought to myself, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. And it was only, I mean, all he had, I don't know how many people remember that presentation, but the only thing he had...
I do.
Yeah, the only thing he
I
had...
just talked about it. I just pointed out what was he had in it. He had mobile weapons of mass destruction labs and aluminum pipes and dirty warehouse.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, what I came away from that with was, you know, I heard one scratchy audio recording and I saw a grainy photograph. But this is interesting. He was pressured by I don't know where the pressure came from, CIA, DIA, you know, maybe from Dick Cheney, but I know he was pressured to conjure up a report that would engage in tendentious reasoning and prove prove the point. And it's just an anecdote. It's probably neither here nor there. But one of his, one of the undersecretaries produced a first draft and put it on his desk, and he was expected to go to the UN and present this report. And he read through it, and this is Colin Powell I'm talking about, and he was furious. And I think this was in Time magazine or something. He grabs the report and throws it up against the wall of his office and says, "This is bullshit." So even he knew it was bullshit. So he was politically pressured to go before the world community and present this bullshit evidence.
Well, he was persuaded, whatever, that there's some greater good to be accomplished through this lie. And so, yeah, he sold out. Somebody told him he's not going to get a job, with McDonnell Douglas after he retires if he doesn't play along, or whatever they told him. But again, it doesn't really matter. People wanted to hear it. People wanted to hear how we're going to go get them.
And you don't, Gary, you don't believe that a lot of the information that was filtered through Dick Cheney and dubious reports of operational ties between Al Qaeda and Iraq was spoon-fed to Powell, perhaps?
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't, but it doesn't matter, because the very information he was using in argument before the United Nations, 60 Minutes had already exposed that documentation as bogus, okay, weeks before. So you explain that. I mean, our media wasn't even part of the mess, okay? But it doesn't matter, because it was all such bullshit, and people certainly could say it was bullshit. They could have just raised their hand and say, "This is all bullshit. It's not worth killing people for." But they didn't want to say that, because they wanted to go teach them a lesson.
Yeah, boy, there's so many points here. I could get lost in any one of them. But I agree about the New York Times failure to grow a spine. I don't know if you ever saw, I'm sure a number of you here must have seen or read the book by Noam Chomsky called Manufacturing Consent. And one of his assertions in that book and in the documentary film is that there are basically CIA plants at the highest levels of the Fourth Estate who are collating and organizing the news and filtering it for public consumption. I don't know how much of this I want to go into, and some of you probably are well aware of it, some of you aren't. But one of the interesting points he makes in that book is that you don't get it. Let me back up a second. It's not that there's this high-level cabal, this star chamber in the New York Times that is telling all the lower-level managing editors, okay, here's what you're going to put on your op-ed page. Here's what you're going to put on the front page. Chomsky says it doesn't work like that. What he says is the way it works is you're carefully indoctrinated, basically from the time you're in grade school, to go along with the system and to be a supporter, producer, consumer. So by the time you've come out of the mechanism, the collegiate mechanism, and get your job at the New York Times, you don't have to be told what to put on the op-ed page. You don't have to be told, how to write your articles. You're already so carefully, massaged and brainwashed that you produce what they want you to produce without any oversight or, draconian stick behind you whatsoever. I don't know if that makes any sense, or if you agree with it or not. I see one person.
No,
thinks,
well, I think it's a pile of shit.
Okay.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, we know what works, okay? And it's all about the propaganda. You got to be polite to religion. There's so many ways you always have to filter yourself anyway to be popular. And obviously it's about popularity. It's about selling advertisement. The New York Times is not in the business because it's some sort of non-profit or something. No, it's a business, and it's run by rich capitalists. Bottom line. CNN